The rain pattered gently against the windshield as I turned onto Aberdeen Avenue. It had been 15 long years since I last drove down this street, 15 years of regret, guilt, and wondering what if. But when my old friend Jay called me out of the blue and asked to meet up while I was randomly visiting town, I knew I had to take the chance to try to make amends, despite our ugly falling out all those years ago. Jay was already waiting for me outside his house, number 16, as I pulled up. The rain beaded on his bald head and trickled down his glasses as he stood there, not seeming to notice me at first. He held up a finger, then turned his head and yelled, "Mandy, stay in the backyard." I noticed his Irish setter with its paw on the backyard gate handle. Good reflexes, I thought. Jay hopped into my car, looking agitated and nervous. I tried to break the ice. "Hey man, good to see you. It's been a while." "Oh yeah, I guess it has. Or has it? I don't know anymore." Jay replied cryptically, "Is everything okay? You seem on edge." "Yeah, let's just go for a drive. We need to talk." I pulled away from the curb, unsure where this was headed. "Where do you want to go?" "Take a right up here onto Spring Green Road," Jay said. I complied and we headed towards the center of town. An uncomfortable silence hung between us. I knew I needed to bite the bullet and address the elephant in the room. "Listen, Jay, about what happened 15 years ago, I was completely in the wrong. The way I acted, the things I said and did to you, it was unforgivable. And I'm so sorry. When you cut me out of your life after that, it destroyed me. I've regretted it every single day since. I know I can never take it back, but I just need you to know how deeply sorry I am, and how much I wish I could change what happened." Jay stared out the passenger window, not making eye contact. "I know, Tim. I know you're sorry." "You do? Have I told you this before?" I asked, confused. "Yeah, more times than I can count at this point, to be honest." "Slow down. We're coming up on where I need you to stop." Perplexed, I eased off the gas. "Okay. Just let me know." "Stop. Now," Jay suddenly shouted. I slammed on the brakes and the car lurched to a halt. A black cat darted across the road right in front of us, narrowly escaping becoming roadkill. "Wow, good eye. I totally didn't see that cat coming. Especially in this weather," I said, impressed and a little shaken. Jay let out a weary sigh. "What are you talking about? How could you possibly know that?" "Because, Tim, I'm stuck in a time loop. The same day keeps repeating over and over again. And you're the only one who ever believes me when I try to explain it." I stared at him, trying to process this bombshell. "Okay, let's say I believe you. What day keeps repeating?" "Today. Always today. Friday, November 1st, 2019. I've lived this day with minor variations countless times now." "So you're saying this is like Groundhog Day? How do I know you're telling the truth? That this isn't some elaborate prank?" I challenged him. "Remember when your cousin Jennifer asked to see your penis when you were kids? And you showed her even though you had an erection? You've told me about that." My jaw dropped and my face flushed beet red. I had never told a soul about that. "And you had sex with my girlfriend at the time, Adrian, at a party when I passed out drunk upstairs. I know that for a fact too," Jay went on. "Oh my God. Jay, I'm so sorry. I swear I was going to tell you about that. I just dash. Save it, you've given me that spiel 100 times before, along with begging me for forgiveness for nuking our friendship. And you want to know my response? I can't forgive you, Tim. What you did, it broke something in me. I lost all trust and faith in you. Our friendship was already dead and buried long before today started repeating." Tears welled up in my eyes. The one thing I had hoped to salvage from this trip, redemption and reconciliation with Jay, was disintegrating before my eyes. "Jay, please, I'll do anything to make this right between us. You're the best friend I've ever had. I can't stand the thought of you hating me forever," I pleaded. "You don't get it, do you, Tim? I've had an eternity to think about this, to replay our whole friendship and its demise over and over in my mind. At first, I thought maybe you had something to do with me being trapped in this loop. That if I forgave you, it would free me. But it never does. So why did you even agree to meet with me then? If you're so set on never forgiving me, I asked, anger and despair rising in my voice. Curiosity, boredom, loneliness, take your pick. When you've lived the same day this many times, you start looking for anything to change up the script. But it always ends the same. Jay gestured behind us, and I noticed a car had pulled up and was idling there. That's my ride. I'm done with this conversation. Your ride? What are you talking about? Do you even know who that is? Yep. They always show up right about now to extract me from another pointless reconciliation attempt. Jay opened the passenger door and stepped out into the rain. He leaned down to look at me one last time. Goodbye, Tim. You get to move on with your life after today. I never will. Let that be punishment enough for how you wronged me. He slammed the door and walked back to the waiting car without a backward glance. I watched, stunned, as it drove off into the night. Alone in my car, I broke down sobbing, feeling the full crushing weight of what I had lost. Not just once, but over and over again in an endless cycle of regret. Was Jay telling the truth about being trapped in a time loop? It seemed impossible, but how else could he have known such intimate details I had never shared? I collected myself enough to drive aimlessly through town, past all the spots that used to be our spots. The diner we'd go to after closing down the bars, the park where we'd toss a football around, the record store where we'd flip through vinyl for hours, all tainted now by the poison I had injected into our friendship. As I turned back onto Aberdeen Avenue, I was startled to see Jay standing outside his house again, as if waiting for me. Had I somehow driven in a circle? I pulled up, and he hopped in the passenger seat, a sense of déjà vu washing over me. Hey man, good to see you. It's been a while, Jay said cheerily, as if our whole previous interaction had never happened. A chill ran through me as I realized what was happening. He was right. The loop had reset. My chance to atone, to heal the wounds between us, was gone. And tomorrow it would all happen again. An eternity of almosts and nevers. Jay and I drove off into the rainy night, our friendship still shattered beyond repair. Damned to have the same futile conversation over and over with no hope of resolution. An infinite purgatory of my own making. As we headed down that fateful street, I wondered how many more times I would have to relive the final nail being driven into the coffin of the most important relationship of my life. And I wept.